What up, guys? GangstaPranksta here, bringing you the weekly wrestling review for November 10th. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the show, this is where we talk everything about professional wrestling, from news, reviews to predictions. We talk about it also. If you're a fan of professional wrestling, welcome to the show. On today's show, we have reviews for RAW, SmackDown, Impact, Ring of Honor, and NXT. We also have predictions for Turning Point. I don't know if I'm going to do them because it is kind of late, but I haven't seen the show yet, so we'll see about time. If I have a little bit of time, I'll do them. And a little bit of wrestling news. So let's start off right away. We're going to start off with RAW, of course, for show of the week. And the show starts off with The Miz quitting Team Punk. He says, fuck it, and pretty much quits. That's it. That was a backstage segment. First thing that happens is an actual match. It's R-Truth, Rey Mysterio, and Sin Cara taking on Antonio Cesaro and the Primetime Players. Pretty good match. Sin Cara, Mysterio, and Truth win. Next we have Vicky Guerrero comes out and talks about AJ and Cena. Cena comes out and Vicky shows a video of Cena and AJ in towels going into a hotel. AJ appears on the Titantron and threatens to beat up Vicky. And then Ziggler appears behind her, and Cena runs to the back. So it appears as if they're building towards a Cena-Ziggler feud, which I would like to see personally. But the whole AJ, Vicky getting involved thing, I'm not a big fan of this. And, the whole scandalous, is he having an affair with her? Is he not? It's probably going to be like the whole Claire Lynch thing where, you think, everyone thought AJ was the father and she's pregnant, blah, 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 and then she lied about everything. That's probably going to turn out to be this whole Cena and AJ thing, it seems like they're getting it on and blah, 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 whatever is the case, and it just turns out like it's a bunch of, coincidences. So I think that's how it's going to turn out, but hopefully we can get some good matches out of Cena and Ziggler in the meanwhile. Next we got Daniel Bryan and Cody Rhodes. This was an okay match. Cody Rhodes wins. After the match, they do the same thing they did like last week on SmackDown with Mysterio, Sin Cara, and the Primetime Players, where I think it was Darren Young and Sin Cara, and then Darren Young won, and then Red Titus is like, yo, I'll challenge Rey Mysterio to a match, blah, 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 and I can take him. They pretty much did the exact same thing here, but with Team Hell No and Rhodes Scholars. So first match was Daniel Bryan, Cody Rhodes, okay match, and then it was Kane and Sando, and this was a pretty good match. Kane ended up taking that victory. Next we got Michael Cole's in the ring to interview Brad Maddox. Maddox says he did it on his own. He didn't have He didn't have Punk and Heyman telling him what to do. He says he just wants to be a superstar. And when AJ, or when they went 3 hours for Raw, they needed some new talent, so they hired him, and blah, 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 blah. Vince McMahon comes out and says if Maddox can beat Ryback next week, he will give Maddox a $1 million contract. And then Vince brings out Vicky and says at Survivor Series it'll be Cena, Punk, and Ryback in a three-way for the WWE title. So next, I guess it already happened, but we're going to have Ryback and Brad Maddox on Raw. I've been reading a lot of stuff. It seems like, they want to do something with Brad Maddox, kind of like a Colin Delaney, where it's like you wouldn't expect they do something with him, but then he keeps getting beat by Khali, by Henry, and then he kind of they hire him because they like him and stuff, and he kind of gains a little bit of a following. I see that happening here. It's a possibility of Maddox beating Ryback, but that will involve Punk getting involved, Heyman, Cena, whoever else. So that might happen. We'll just have to wait and see. Next we got Sheamus versus Miz. Good match. Sheamus wins. Next we got Eva and Oksana versus Caitlyn and Layla. Blah match. Caitlyn wins. Caitlyn and Layla wins. Or I think it was Eva and Oksana. I think it was Eva and Oksana. Maybe I wrote the wrong answer. I think Eva and Oksana won that. Next we got Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio. Pretty good match. Kofi wins. Next we got Team Cobra versus Epico and Primo. Pretty good match. Team Cobra wins, which is Santino and Zack Ryder. Next we got Brodus Clay taking on Wade Barrett. Pretty good match. Barrett wins. Next we got Heath Slater versus Jey Uso. Pretty good match. Slater wins. And in the main event, we have Ryback and John Cena taking on Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk. This was a good match. And Ryback and Cena ended up taking that victory. Next we got NXT. Overall, Raw was okay for what it was. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Nothing really memorable about the show. Next we got NXT first match. Cassius Ohno taking on Trent Beretta. Pretty good match. Ohno wins. Next we got Biggie Langston versus Mimo Montenegro. I think this is actually Alberto Del Rio's brother. Don't quote me on that though, but I think it is. This was a blah match. Langston wins. After the match, Vicky Guerrero appears on the Titantron and says she put a bounty on Langston's head for $5,000, I believe. And Chad Baxter comes out and tries to take out Langston, but he gets taken out. Next, we got Jason Jordan in the ring waiting for some competition, and we have I think it's debut on NXT, maybe it was on FCW, I'm not sure. Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, yeah, I pronounced the name right. Pretty much Husky Harris with a new gimmick. His gimmick is like that of a preacher, and it seems like it's going to be a Ravens flock kind of thing, where it's like a cult kind of group, and that could be interesting. Definitely not PG-13, but we'll have to wait and see. So far, I thought it was pretty good. I thought Bray Wyatt did a good job of trying to sell that preacher man. Good on the mic, he cut a good promo. And anyways, it was supposed to be him. I think it was supposed to be him in the match, but it ended up being Luke Harper, who's Brody Lee, who they signed a couple months back. Independent sensation Brody Lee. So it was Jason Jordan, Luke Harper. Okay match. Harper wins. And yeah, I'm curious about seeing more about this whole Wyatt. I don't know if they have a name for the fam. Oh, I think it's called the family actually. But I'd like to see more. Let's see where it goes with this. Next we got Brian Saxton comes out to interview Roman Reigns. Roman comes out and says everyone wants to be him. You know, this is the second time they've done like an interview thing with Byron Saxton. Maybe they should just stop because they're fucking terrible. You know, I get they're in developmental and they're supposed to work on their interviews and stuff, but these are fucking terrible. I mean, the first one last week was Biggie Langston. I think it was last week. That one was absolutely terrible. I like high fives. I got 5 toes. I got 5 fingers on each hand. That was fucking terrible. This one was terrible as well. Oh god. Hopefully, put on like a Cassius Ohno or something. Someone that can cut a promo. Fuck. This is terrible. Next we got the main event: Bo Dallas, Drew McIntyre, Justin Gabriel, and Jinder Mahal 4-way elimination match for a #1 contenders title match thing for the NXT title. Good match. Mahal wins. I don't know when they're gonna have the match. Maybe it'll be next week. But Jinder Mahal, Seth Rollins, 1-on-1 for the NXT title. Next we got TNA Impact. Starts out with a good match between AJ Styles and Robert Roode. Roode ends up taking that victory. Next we got Joseph Park comes out, calls out Hogan to give him a match against one of the Aces and Eights at Turning Point. Hogan says no, and Bully Ray comes out and says, you know, Park is a tough guy, and Hogan says okay, he's having a match. Next we got ODB taking on Jesse and Tara in a handicap match. This was an okay match. ODB won. Next we got Sting and Kurt Angle taking on Devon and Doc. This is Luke Gallows' name on TNA. He's Doc, Director of Chaos. I know it's a super fucking name. That should be like his... They should give him like a better name, and then that could be like his nickname, Director of Chaos. Luke Gallows, or whatever, you know? But they're going to call him Doc for now. I hope they change that, because that was fucking stupid. It was a pretty good match. Angle and Sting win by DQ. After the match, Bully Ray chases Devon away. The Aces come out and attack Sting. Doc beats Sting, or he puts him through a table, chokeslams him, and then beats him with a hammer. Even hits him in the head with a hammer. And magically Sting was able to walk away. I don't know many people that can walk away after being hit in the head with a hammer. But, yeah, I guess Sting is a tough-ass guy. Shit. Next, you got the gut check challenge thing. Christian York, we're going to see if he's going to get a title shot. So Taz says yes, and Bruce Pritchard says yes. So he is part of TNA now. I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he can add a little bit of... Now, Taz said something interesting. He said that Christian York has the it factor. Like, he's going to be the John Cena of TNA. I don't think he's going to be the John Cena of TNA, but I think it won't hurt him being in TNA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he has the it factor. We'll have to wait and see. Give it a few months. And, yeah, but so far, he's got a great look. He's been in the business for like over 16 years, so he knows what he's doing. And I'm excited to see what he can bring to TNA. I'm also hoping TNA, you know, starts to recreate their X division. Again, like I've said this a million times, it seems like on and off, on and off, on and off. You know, what happened to guys like Kenny King and Sanjay and Dakota Darso, and fucking everybody else they brought in for that. It just... I guess they're not doing anything with them anymore. Hopefully they can do something with Christian York. Next we got Samoa Joe, Hernandez, and Chavo Guerrero taking on Magnus, Christopher Daniels, and Kazarian. Good match. Magnus, Kaz, and Daniels win. And in the main event, Austin Aries comes out and says he's going to beat Jeff Hardy at Turning Point. Hardy comes out, they brawl. It ends with Hardy climbing the ladder, you know, celebrating that he took out Aries. And then Aries is like, fuck that, and just pushes him over, and then he climbs the top of the ladder. So, I'm liking this feud. I'm liking Austin. I love Austin Aries as a heel. I love him as a heel and a face, but I think he's a better heel. And, you know, he's like, I'm not a ladder climber. I'm a professional wrestler. He's great. He's great. I love Austin Aries. He is the greatest man that ever lived. Almost forgot his catchphrase there. But, yeah. Next, we got SmackDown. Starts out the show with Michael Cole. Starts out the show to interview Sheamus. Cole shows footage of Big Show attacking William Regal and Sheamus in a pub. Sheamus calls Big Show out. Show appears on the Titantron and says he has nothing to prove. Wade Barrett comes out and teases fighting Sheamus, but backs away. First match, we got Kofi Kingston and The Miz IC title match. Pretty good match. Kofi wins. Next, we got Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio versus the Primetime Players. Pretty good match. Primetime Players win. Next, we got William Regal and Sheamus versus Big Show and Wade Barrett. Good match. Show and Barrett win. Good to see William Regal back on TV. I know this is just a one-off, though. Maybe he can even have a little feud with Wade Barrett. We'll have to wait and see. But, you know, they tape these shows in England, so, you know, have the hometown hero William Regal in a match. So maybe we'll see Regal, like I said, in a feud with Wade Barrett. I doubt it, though, but, you know, anything's possible. So this was a nice little way to write him in. So good to see Regal back, even if it's just for one more match. In the main event, Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio, Falls Count Anywhere match. Really good match. Orton ends up taking that victory. It was a not very noteworthy Raw, you know. Not a lot of matches, a lot of promos, a lot of backstage segments. So it was very, I don't want to say lackluster because the main event was pretty good. So it was just average, I guess. So yeah. Next we got Ring of Honor TV. This was just a Road Rage edition where they showed matches from Glory by Honor 11. They showed Tadarius Thomas versus Rhino. What else did they show? They showed Davey Richards and Jay Lethal. And they showed Jay Lethal turning heel. So that was pretty cool because I didn't see that. But this was a show in New Jersey. The main event was Jay Lethal versus Kevin Steen. Lethal's parents were in the crowd, and Steen, you know, him and Lethal go back and forth. Steen ends up biting Lethal in the face, and a lady throws a drink at Steen, and he doesn't know this, but it turns out to be Jay Lethal's mother. He ends up spitting on her, and Jay Lethal just goes crazy and beats up everybody. And then backstage, he attacks Jim Cornette. So that was a nice little segment. I thought it was really good. Jay Lethal did a great job. I don't like him that he's a heel, but, you know, maybe it's something. I haven't seen him as a heel yet, so I don't know if he's a good heel or a bad heel. But, I don't know. He just seems like he's too nice to be a heel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get that vibe. Like, he's just a really nice guy. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So next is TNA Turning Point. I know it already happened, but I didn't get to watch it, so I'm just going to give my thoughts and opinions on some of the matches that they have lined up. First match, ODB and Eric Young versus Tara and Jesse. Finally, Eric Young is going to be back on TNA, and he's going to be teaming up with his wife, ODB. Okay, so there was a tweet Eric Young tweeted, and he's like, come see me on these shows. He was touring Canada. And, this might be my last run with TNA. So it's like, is he going to be with TNA after this? I have no idea. If he's not going to be with TNA anymore, then I'll give it to Tara and Jesse. But, probably Tara and Jesse need it more just because they're building up Jesse. So, and I'm kind of liking the whole Tara-Jesse little couple thing that they're doing, They're doing a great job. I didn't think Jesse was going to be that good, but he's alright. He's alright. I can watch him. He's watchable. So I'll probably go Tara and Jesse on this one. Next we got Doc, a.k.a. Luke Gallows, taking on Joseph Park. Not really looking forward to this match too much. I'd love to see Abyss back in TNA, but I don't know if that is ever going to happen. Maybe he might make an appearance. Luke Gallows, I'm going to go with him to beat Joseph Park, and then maybe Abyss's music plays or something, or, a light comes out, a red light or something. I don't know, something. Because I'd love to see Abyss back. Next we got Kurt Angle versus Devon. This should be a pretty good match. Kurt Angle can have a good match with anybody. But, I'm going to go with Devon on this one. It just seems like they're building towards the Devon Boltley Ray match. They were supposed to have a match a few weeks ago, but they didn't have it because they're saving it for a big event. So I see them taking on each other at the next pay-per-view, probably a tables match as well. So I'll go with Devon on this one. Next, we got Samoa Joe versus Magnus, no DQ match for the TNA TV title. I think I'm going to go with Magnus on this one. I like Joe and everything, but this whole no DQ thing kind of works out more in Magnus's favor. So I think he might pull the win and be the new TNA TV champion. But there's also a possibility that Joe can just go apeshit and win the match, which I'd be happy with. But I think Magnus is going to win the match. Just my opinion, though. Next we got Robert Roode, AJ Styles, and James Storm in a three-way #1 contenders match for the world title. I think the loser of the match doesn't get a title match for the rest of 2000. Doesn't get a title match for 2013. So whoever loses has a lot to lose. Let's start with who's gonna win. I would love to see AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy. That's just me. We already saw Jeff Hardy and Robert Roode, I think. Yeah, we did. And I'm pretty sure we saw James Storm versus Jeff Hardy. So I think let's do something new. AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy, TNA, whatever pay-per-view is next. Who's gonna lose though? Who would I have lose here? Probably like James Storm. Have Robert Roode take out James Storm in the match, and then AJ Styles rolls up Roode, and then bam, you get a main event: AJ Styles versus whoever the winner is of the ladder match, and then you have Robert Roode, James Storm, and maybe one more match, an I Quit match. If they're gonna have one more match, it's got to be an I Quit match or a last man standing match. So yeah, I'll go with Roode. Actually, I go with AJ. But I don't know if AJ is actually going to win. I would like to see him win. I would like to see AJ Styles get another push. But we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. But that's what I'd like to see. Next, for the X Division title, RVD will be defending his title against Joey Ryan. This is actually pretty... I didn't expect Joey Ryan to get such a push right away. I expected him to do more of something like a tag team with him and Matt Morgan. And speaking of Matt Morgan, what's the whole thing with him and Hogan? Are they going to have a match? What are they leading to? I have no idea. So Matt Morgan's not allowed to be at ringside, I believe. So Joey Ryan versus RVD. Kind of surprised Joey Ryan's already getting thrown into the X Division title. But that should be cool. I'm going to go with RVD here. Just because he you know, he just won the title last month, so for him to already lose it the next month to Joey Ryan will kind of diminish the title. So I'm going to go with RVD. They'll probably have a rematch, and then that's where Joey will win it, which I'll be fine with. But don't let RVD drop it right away. Let him hold it for at least a month before he drops it. Next, we got Christopher Daniels and Kazarian taking on Hernandez and Chavo for the TNA World Tag Team titles. I like the team of Christopher Daniels and Kazarian a lot, but I'm going to have to go with Hernandez and Chavo on this one. Like I said with X Division, they won the titles last month. There's no need to drop them right away. Especially, well, you could have Daniels and Kazarian win and then have like a final rematch at the next pay-per-view. I don't know what the next pay-per-view is. Oh, my bad. So it's like you can pull another match out there. But I think Hernandez and Chavo are going to win. But then what are they going to do next? Because there's really no teams in TNA. You know, they might take on a Robbie E or Rob Terry or a Gunner and Kid Cash. But we'll have to wait and see. Overall, I'm going to have to go with Hernandez and Chavo on this one. Although I do like the team of Daniels and Kazarian. I just don't know what's going to happen next. You know, lack of TNA teams. Maybe throw some aces and eights. You know, like they're going to have a team and they're going to go for the TNA Tag Team titles. So that'd be interesting. And then they could take on Hernandez and Chavo. They could win the titles. And then, you know, aces and eights gain a little bit more power in TNA. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that could be good. So we'll have to wait and see. In the main event, Austin Aries versus Jay Lethal. Austin Aries versus Jeff Hardy, ladder match for the TNA World Title. To be honest, if this was me, and I would have AJ win the number one contenders, I would love to see him face Jeff Hardy. I would love for him to face Austin Aries as well, but I'd like to see him take on Jeff Hardy just a little bit more. I don't know what they're going to do with Austin Aries after this match. Hopefully not throw him back in the X Division title division. Like, I don't know. They got to do something with him, but I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy, but I'd still love to see Austin Aries get a push. I just don't know what that push entails. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a feud with Samoa Joe for the TNA TV title. That'd be kind of taking a step back, but I don't know. Like maybe a feud with Anderson or something. Who else could he feud with? I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see what TNA comes up with. But I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy to win the TNA World Title in the ladder match. You know, it is a specialty match. I am looking forward to this match. It should be good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Next, we got the news section of the Weekly Wrestling Review. Short news section. JBL has signed a new contract with WWE to regularly be a part of the SmackDown broadcasting team. Super excited about this. I know Jerry Lawler returned this week, and I don't know what happened with the announcing situation. I don't know if it was like him, Jim Ross, and Michael Cole, or Jim Ross has been completely kicked out. I'm not sure. I'll have to watch Raw and see. But I know SmackDown, I think the SmackDown team before is Michael Cole and Josh Matthews. Yeah. And now it's going to be JBL and Josh Matthews, which I like JBL a lot. He very knowledgeable guy. I like wrestlers that do commentary. Some of them, you know, like guys like CM Punk, just a really smart, quick-witted guy. And he's entertaining on commentary. And he also makes these old wrestling references, and they're just really entertaining. And you know, he's always ragging on Josh Matthews. So I think JBL is an awesome fit for the SmackDown announced team, and hopefully he's actually on the pay-per-view broadcasting team. And the pay-per-view broadcasting team will probably be Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL, which should be an entertaining broadcast. I can't wait to see the next pay-per-view, Survivor Series. Speaking of Survivor Series, let's just start wrapping this up. I want to thank you guys for watching. Come back next week. We're going to have reviews for TNA Turning Point, Raw, SmackDown, Impact, Ring of Honor, NXT, and predictions for WWE Survivor Series. Can't wait to see the announced team there in full effect. JBL, Jim Ross, I keep saying Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, JBL, and Michael Cole. So that should be entertaining. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe you can give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And that's it, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch us next time, guys. Peace out.